You're watching The 7 from WATE 6 on your side.
Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to The 7. Let's get a look at the big 7 stories right now. And topping the list for us tonight, if you were driving down I-40 in West Knoxville, it was hard to miss the plume of smoke rising into the sky. As a matter of fact, a fire breaking out at the Walker Springs apartment complex. This is in the 700 block of Walker Springs Road. 12 fire units were called and over 40 firefighters two AMR ambulances as well as multiple KCSO units were also called. Now, our 6th storm team spotted it from our TIS Insurance Services camera. Chief Meteorologist Ken Weathers actually got us a time lapse of some of that video, but you can see that plume of smoke rising. This is what it looked like earlier today, and here's that time lapse that we were talking about. Again, just look to the right of your screen and you can see when it started and that white smoke turning to that dark gray. As a matter of fact, a few wisps of white smoke, eventually it went gray, and if you look closely, you could even see some flames. Now, we also received this video of flames from viewer William Roberts. He shared ground level shots showing the thick black smoke rising from the roof of one of those buildings. Also a column of fire spinning into the air with firefighters just below with more smoke from all around the building. By the time our crew got there, flames were shooting from the roof and the eaves of the building, while rural Metro firefighters poured water on the building. Rural Metro firefighters tell us a second set of fire crews also called in. Everyone, by the way, is accounted for.
All the occupants are accounted for. All of them are out. And now we're just trying to suppress the fire so that way we don't have other damage to other units. Anytime you have a building of a fire of this magnitude and the fire burns in on itself, now we have to sift through that to actually extinguish what's underlying and what's burning underneath.
That building, by the way, a total loss. Some units were affected in the next building as well due to the connection by a breezeway. The Red Cross is assisting with shelter for the families and individuals impacted by the fire. Crews are expected to be on the scene for several more hours. They are asking for people to please avoid that area. The fire is under investigation. Rural Metro tells us it may take days, even weeks, to uncover a cause. We are working to bring you new information tonight at 11 o'clock. Next now on the 7, the Oak Ridge National Laboratory revealing new technology that's in the works that's meant to detect potential hazards that could lead to fires, particularly wildfires. An example of this firefighting technology includes drones with sensors that can monitor electrical grids for cases of excessive heat or arcing, which is when there are spikes in voltage or power. The drones can also be used to help firefighters find small embers or even fires that aren't producing smoke. This can make it easier now for first responders to know where to respond to faster and with more accuracy. This technology has been in the works for several years and was even being tested during the Wares Valley fire earlier this year.
We were trying to measure temperature, that's simple, on pole-mounted transformers when the poles are on fire to see if the transformers have hit a temperature beyond their rated expectations.
For a closer look at what this technology can, or most importantly, prevent, search for this story on WAT.com. There you will be able to learn more, plus hear from 2 local fire departments about their thoughts on this technology. Next now on the Big 7, a deadly shooting along Rosedale Avenue happening around 2 this afternoon. Video from the scene shows a car with its rear window shattered, another car with what appears to be a bullet hole. Knoxville police say officers found a man who had been shot. They say he did not survive his injuries after being taken to UT Medical Center. We do not know that man's name, and police say they have not identified any suspects at this time. This prompted a temporary lockdown, though, at Vine Middle School that was nearby. That lockdown was lifted a short time later. Now, police want anyone with any information to contact East Tennessee Valley Crime Stoppers. You can call 865-215-7165, or you can visit the group's website or social media accounts. And remember, you can remain anonymous, and the right information could earn you a cash reward. Continuing our Big 7 list tonight, we have new details on the apparent murder-suicide out of La Follette earlier this month. TBI has released the names of the 4 people in this case. 55-year-old Daisy Brown, 27-year-old Michael Brown, Michelle Brown, 19-year-old Jonathan Brown, and 29-year-old John Brown are named as those who died. On August 3rd, police conducted a welfare check at a home on Log Home Lane. We are told the family had not been heard from for a week after the father of the family died of natural causes. The TBI says their investigation is not over. Of course, we're going to update you as we learn more. Next on the Big 7, 3 teens have now been arrested after a shooting. This happened in Memphis overnight. As we've been telling you, 6 people were shot near Memphis's Methodist North Hospital shortly after midnight. But now we're learning 3 of the shooting victims already had gunshot wounds after police say they stole an Infiniti SUV from a gas station and then someone shot at them. After that initial shooting, those 3 teens drove to a nearby apartment complex where we're told a 25-year-old and 14-year-old joined them and drove them toward the hospital. According to police, as they approached the hospital, shots were fired at the Infiniti once again by unknown suspects. The 5 victims then ran to the hospital, abandoning the stolen car. A 6th victim was injured in the crossfire and is also receiving treatment tonight. A shooter was not located, but police say 3 of the victims will be charged with theft of property for allegedly stealing the Infiniti from a gas station. Next up, Hatmaker's Bar and Grill beer license was just suspended after a pretrial hearing this morning in front of the City of Knoxville's Beer Board. Now, you'll recall a complaint was filed by the city last month against Hatmakers. The city claimed the Tazewell Pike business was operating in a disorderly manner in violation of city laws. The original pretrial hearing was postponed so Hatmakers could get legal advice and set up a response. The owner, Jason Hatmaker, has since submitted 7 pages of documents, but today a hearing officer ruled that the documents did not constitute a response. They granted the city's motion to revoke the bar's beer license for a period of 10 years. According to the city, Knox County 911 has received 76 calls in relation to the business in just the last 2 years. And rounding out the Big 7 for you, a new campaign to get the word out about all the jobs available right now in Gatlinburg. Jody Coffey is a server at the Clifftop restaurant at Anakista in Gatlinburg, and she took the job just a few months ago and has not looked back. The 52-year-old says working in Gatlinburg has been a great experience and much better than her job as a manager at a big box store.
Not comparable. This is so much different. This is, even on a crazy busy day, it's exciting and not stressful. It's exciting, you know.
While Jody is surrounded by fellow employees, her employer is trying to hire even more people right now. Gatlinburg Convention and Visitors Bureau marketing specialist Marissa Rios says a lot of people are trying to attract a lot of new employees with bonuses, incentives, and promises of promotions.
There's a lot of upward mobility. There's a lot of chances for growth. No matter where you're working, you could start at an entry-level job. You don't just get to work here, you get to play here.
The new Work and Play campaign is an effort to get the word out about all the jobs available in Gatlinburg and how great the area is. The Chamber's webpage now has a direct link to jobs currently available in that area. And while finding employees now is important, it will be more important down the road. Over the next 10 years, the job growth rate is predicted to be 43% in Gatlinburg, well above the national rate of 33%.